appropriate. It's a St. Patrick's Day weekend because the patron saint of lightning fast speed and nail-biting finishes is the Atlanta Motor Speedway. With former champs and future stars ready to race side by side, forget the four-leaf clovers. All you need are a lead foot and a no-fear mindset. This is the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Hold on to your loved ones and loose change, because if history has shown us anything, we are in for a wild ride. Keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle. The setup starts now. Welcome to the setup. I'm Krista Voda. Nothing hot about Hotlanta tonight, but it's going to take a lot more than a chill in the air to keep these guys from providing the spine-tingling finishes we have grown accustomed to at this track. We have got a packed show, so now let's go down to the two hardest working, well, I would say leprechauns, but I think Eskimos is more appropriate tonight. Down on pit road, it's Ray Dunlap and Adam Alexander. Ray, let's start with you.
Well, Krista, tonight I think we're going to be talking about weather. Not the temperature here at Atlanta, which is very cold, but whether or not you're going to be able to keep air in your right front tire. That's a big thing for these drivers at this racetrack each and every time we come here. And today, only one practice for these guys. So NASCAR has given them an extra set of tires, and we're going to have a competition caution somewhere around lap 25. That'll let these crew chiefs take a look at their tires and make decisions that will hopefully keep the air in the right front throughout the course of the night. Adam?
After a couple of weeks off, Ray, you knew there would be off-track news in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and there was. Dennis Setzer with back-to-back 19th place finishes to start the season. Not good enough in the Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet. So Dennis has a new crew chief for this race 3 in the 2007 season, and it's a familiar name, Tom Ackerman. He worked with the 9 team as a crew chief the last 2 years. He's been the truck chief, and he replaces Dave McCarty, who is now handling duties at the shop in the Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet, and so far, so good. Dennis Setzer qualified 9th, and he'll be a truck to watch here tonight at Atlanta. Krista?
All right, thanks, guys. We've got a lot more coming up from those guys in just a bit. But, yeah, as Adam said, we've been off for a couple of weeks, and it's kind of a good thing. You know, I think we needed a break after what we've already seen. We needed to refresh, review, and reapply a healthy dose of, I can't believe they did that. Here's the rewind.
Waffle's got no allies right now. If he's going to do it, he's going to have to do it on his own.
Make up your mind what you're going to do to try to make this thing work.
They're racing for the win at Daytona. Waffle with an extremely strong truck. Here we go. Look at Jack side by side. Oh, and Jack's it. Jack Sprague will win at Daytona.
Now, Mark Martin, great champion that he is, lets Hornaday jump him on the restart. Shame on him. He knows that's what he's going to do. Brake check him.
Mark Hornaday is going to spin Mark Martin at the start.
They just spot him slam out right there.
And we got a new leader. Mike Skinner took over the top spot. Across the start-finish line, Skinner wins in California.
You don't know how these darn truck races are going to turn out.
Hard to believe we have still got 23 more chances for finishes like that. Let's go upstairs and hear from the guys you hear from each week, Rick Allen and Phil Parsons.
Well, thank you very much, Krista. And I know it's been 3 weeks since our last race, but I think still fresh in the mind of at least Mark Martin was that finish at California. A very difficult end to what looked like a very strong day for Mark Martin.
Well, it was a strong day, and Mark Martin was not mad after that race because he knew he had to do something to try to beat Ron Hornaday. Let's take a look back. This is a restart on lap 92. Watch, that's Ron Hornaday in 3rd right now, but that's Mark Martin leading, Mike Skinner on the inside. Watch Mark come down the hill there to try to beat him. This is our last restart right there. What happened was Mark had decided he had to do something different because Ron Hornaday seemed so close to beating him on the previous restart. So he brought the field down real slow, and then Ron Hornaday was just itching to go, and when he went, he actually got up underneath the back end because the bumpers don't line up on these trucks. Got underneath Mark Martin, turned him around, and that allowed him to slow down enough for Mike Skinner to get by, and he wins the race.
Well, we're at Atlanta, and it's always fantastic finishes here. In Daytona, it was 31 1/1000ths of a second separating 1 and 2, and you just saw what happened at California at the end of that one. So we're expecting another great one while we're here in Atlanta. Krista?
All right, thanks, guys. A great one indeed. That is exactly what we were expecting. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Ford point standings. I know it's early, but we still want to see where these guys stack up after 2 races. There you see a lot of former champs. Jack Sprague, Mike Skinner at the top of the board, followed by Johnny Benson, the 2-time champ Ron Hornaday, Todd Bodine, our defending champ, Ted Musgrave, Travis Kvapil, Rick Crawford, Matt Crafton, and Eric Darnell. That is your Ford point standings with 2 races in the books. 2 former champs have been to victory lane this year. Will we see a first-timer? Perhaps a Ford. That's true. The F150 is 0-5 in Atlanta. Stick around. We're just getting started. Great finishes here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series here at this Atlanta track. And we are honored to be joined now by a former NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series alum, I guess you would say, Todd Cleaver. And Todd now driving the 3M Ford Fusion in the Busch Series. But let's talk about this track, Atlanta. You had a top 10 here in 2005. What was the craziest truck race you were involved in, and was it at this track?
Well, I was in a crazy truck race here. That was a fall race in 05. I don't remember exactly how it all played out, but Jack and Kyle Busch wrecked coming to the checker flag. Big cloud of smoke. I know I was running 4th, I think, at the time. I ended up finishing 6th or 7th, but me and Bobby Labonte hit head on at about 180 miles an hour. I ended up parked in the pit wall here. Probably one of the hardest wrecks I've ever had. This place is amazing for great finishes, and you're going to see all the excitement you can tonight.
Does that excitement transfer over to your Busch car? I know I talked with you earlier today, and you said you've kind of had this race circled on your calendar for a while.
Yeah, this place is it's an awesome racetrack, and everybody loves coming here. All the drivers love this place. It's a place where you can run on the bottom, you can run on the top, you can run in the middle. You can do whatever you got to do to make your car work. This is one of the places where the driver really feels like he is a part of what's going on, more so than any place else. And everybody loves racing here. So you look at like the Busch race, you got all the Cup guys. So what better place to win at than here with all the Cup guys and everybody's favorite place?
We're on the edge of our seats already, and I guess it's not just because of the cold. We're going to have more with Todd Cleaver in just a bit, but you know, right now everyone's kind of filling out their brackets. I know Todd's a big Wisconsin fan, being a Wisconsin native. We're talking, of course, about March Madness, but you know, at this time last year, it was a whole different kind of madness surrounding Bill Lester. He was about to make history, but as Lester found out, making history does not mean you've made it.
Bill, Stan Creekmore, Inside Track News. Number one, I applaud you for the maturity that you showed today. In your own mind, who did you represent today, each and every lap?
Who did I represent? I represented myself.
1 year ago, Bill Lester made NASCAR history when he became the first African-American driver in 2 decades to qualify for a Cup Series race.
It was just, justification, verification that everything that I'd worked so long and hard to try to accomplish was worth it. The risk was paid off in terms of the reward.
Wow, way to go. There you go. Woo-hoo. That's his wife, it's his mom and his dad.
Well, you said he'd dig down for qualifying and find something, and he did.
He could do it.
A great effort.
And I had a whole lot of people watching very closely, and we succeeded. And I think probably one of the most satisfying things beyond personally being satisfied is knowing that so many people cared about it. I got feedback and response from so many people across the country and across the world.
During that historic weekend, more than 300 stories appeared in newspapers across the country. But Lester received exactly 0 phone calls from potential sponsors, a contradiction that forced NASCAR's diversity leader to take a hard look at his role in the process.
It's a blessing and it's a curse. The fact of the matter is that my uniqueness brings me attention that a lot of other drivers probably don't receive. And, anytime that you can have yourself out there, good, bad, or indifferent, that's typically positive. But by the same token, I don't want to be the flag bearer for all African Americans in this country.
What would you say to African Americans to make this a more attractive, more of an attractive thing for them?
Well, I mean, I think what we need to do is break the traditional mindset that we're not invited, we're not welcome to be a part of this sport, because we indeed are. I think the reason that we just don't see more of us taking part in this sport is because we just don't see a whole lot more Bill Lesters out there behind the wheel.
Way to go, Bill. He knows what to do.
Watch Bill Lester right here. He's going to
kiss the wall.
Just ever so slightly, and he still drives down beside a Dennis Setzer.
I really want to be talking to media because I've just won. That's kind of what the attention that I want to draw, not just because, you know, the color of my skin.
And of course, Atlanta is the hometown for Bill Lester, and I can't imagine there'd be any other track that you'd love to win at more than right here at AMS.
No question about that, Ray. This would be the place. I mean, I love this place. I love the fans here. I mean, I love the speed of this track, and I think we got a real good Silverado here with Bowen Homes on it. So I'm looking to get it on, man. The introductions are done. Let's go.
All right, go get a hook. Bill is ready to jump in that number 15 and get it on. Adam?
Another driver ready to go here tonight is Ken Schrader, starting 11th. 45 Cup starts here, only one truck start. Can all that experience translate to success tonight?
Well, the Fastenal Dodge has really been good here. Like last 5 years, they've run top 5 almost every year, and you know Bobby Senior won here, and we qualified decent. We're starting 11th, so you know I think we can have a pretty good night here.
Fastenal on the hood and a Fastenal representative here tonight. We're talking about the regional vice president in the Southeast region. And I'll tell you what, Steve Rumke, you guys have got an interesting thing going. You got 2 students who are going to have an opportunity to intern with Bobby Hamilton Racing through you guys to learn more at the race shop and the racetrack. It's a cool deal. Tell us about it.
Yes, 2 students will be chosen to work with the Bobby Hamilton Racing team at the shop in Tennessee. They will get the opportunity to use their education and work with the team on the number 18 Fastenal Dodge. They also will get to assist the pit crew in Kentucky in July. For more information about this, check fastenal.com. But you got to hurry because the deadline will be April 30th. Thank you.
A cool opportunity, and for more information, you can go to fastenal.com. Krista?
All right, thanks, Adam. Of course, we see Bobby Hamilton's name still on that truck as well. Bobby Hamilton, a winner here, and joined still by Todd Cleaver of the Roush Fenway Racing Stable, now in the Busch Series. But I want to talk about your truck career. How did driving a truck, how did it help you? I mean, obviously it helped you in the Busch Series, but how?
Well, the thing that's so great about the truck series is the trucks have a real long wheelbase, so they're very forgiving as far as getting your feet under you. You know, when you first start out, I think you know, that's why you see guys like Kelly Byers, I think, running really well. You know, one of my first real fast racetracks I came to was this place right here we tested, and I had John Munson, incidentally, as my crew chief, and had a great test. I think, you know, the trucks, because they make so much downforce, they have such a long wheelbase, they're very forgiving. You can get them a little bit out of shape and still save them. I also think that's why they put on great racing, too. But, you know, this is it's a great place. The trucks are real forgiving. They slide around a lot. They can race. They can beat and bang. They got a lot of downforce. It's a great place to start just to get your feet wet, because the Busch cars definitely are a lot twitchier feeling car, and the Cup cars are even way worse than that. So definitely the trucks get your confidence built up before you start.
We've got someone in the field tonight who's kind of an extra name. We want to go ahead and show you who he is right now.
It's Clint Bowyer going to take the win in the Chevy Silverado 350.
Well, little different stickers on the truck tonight. They'll have Camping World on the side of there, but I know you're excited about getting underway. What's your realistic shot of winning tonight's race?
Well, we always got a shot, you know, in the race. Kevin Harvick gave me this opportunity in the Camping World Chevrolet, and we're going to make the best of it. All these guys have been working hard today, and we're going to get this old girl up front. It's just going to take a while.
All right, we're going to watch you right there. Clint Bowyer, a former winner here in the Craftsman Truck Series. He's got 3 wins in the Busch Series also. Adam?
And a career best start tonight for Aaron Fike, qualifying 5th. Your first start in the Truck Series here at Atlanta. You're a young kid. You like to go fast. You did it earlier today. How is it for the race tonight, Aaron?
I think pretty good. You know, the Toyota Tundra is running pretty good. All the guys at Red Horse Racing gave me a really good truck, and hopefully I can just keep it up front. We didn't get a lot of practice today because of the rain this morning, but you know, hopefully, well, you know, we'll see what we got here in about 10 minutes.
The good news is a solid starting spot for Aaron Fike tonight. Krista Hill roll off 5th.
Well, they are tired of talking. They are ready to go racing. Todd Cleaver, thank you for joining us. Best of luck to you and your number 16 3M Ford Fusion tomorrow.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's go down trackside for the invocation.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Lovejoy High School Air Force Junior ROTC presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Tom Summers from Carver Road Baptist Church in Griffin, Georgia, delivers tonight's invocation.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we love you and we praise you. We're so thankful for your goodness to us, Lord. I just pray that you put your hand of protection upon these drivers tonight. Lord, protect the pit crews. And God, I just pray you get the glory here for your wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Lord and Savior. And we pray it in your name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Holly Summey as she performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Holly Summey, ladies and gentlemen, with our national anthem.
There is no way the lights are going out on this night in Georgia. The American Commercial Lines 200 is moments away. We've set them up. It's time for guys like Jack Sprague and Ron Hornaday to throw them down.
There is a place where fast takes on a new meaning, where the glow of stadium lights splinters seconds into fractions. The seats of Atlanta sit abandoned between races, and when the green flag drops, they'll be empty again.
Race fans are on their feet here at Atlanta.
Wheel racing as we come to expect here in Atlanta. An unbelievable pass.
Tonight, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series breaks out with its third race of the season. With speeds reaching 180 miles per hour, 130 laps will be over in the blink of an eye.
Race fans are loving this one. They're still on their feet.
Welcome to Hampton, Georgia, and Atlanta Motor Speedway, and the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series American Commercial Lines 200 on Speed. A chilly evening just south of Atlanta, Georgia. 46 degrees when we're about to get the green flag. A very breezy night as well, as the wind blowing almost 13 miles an hour right into the front stretch. As the trucks will be coming out of turn 4, they will hit a very brisk wind that will probably affect the handling of these vehicles. Let's get them started, though, for tonight's command. Let's go downstairs.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your Grand Marshal, Chief Operating Officer of American Commercial Lines, Jerry Lindsay, as he delivers those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
The engines are fired up. The trucks are warming up on a very cold evening in Atlanta, Georgia. We'll be back for the start of this race right after this. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by the official tools of NASCAR, Craftsman. By Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership. Nobody beats Aaron's. Nobody. And by Fastenal. We get it right. Beautiful evening. If you enjoy a crisp evening, I guess, in the Atlanta, Georgia area. Atlanta Motor Speedway, one of the fastest racetracks that the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series comes to each year, and we come here twice. Hello, everyone. I'm Rick Allen alongside of Phil Parsons and Michael Waltrip. Now, obviously, the racing is good here, but the finishes are fantastic, Phil.
Really, throughout the entire race. The nice thing about this racetrack is these drivers can drive on the bottom, they can drive on the middle, or they can drive right up against the wall, and they will do that all night long. And inevitably, it comes down to, at the end of the race, they're all going to be all mixed together, top, bottom, middle.
Yeah, and it's cold today, Michael. Does that affect the way this race is going to be run?
It'll certainly affect the starts and the restarts, Rick. When your tires are cold and you throw that 700 horsepower to those rear tires, sometimes they want to spin, and sometimes that can create disaster on the restarts. You got to have a lap or two so that truck will come to you. So the restarts, you know, is the most time that things go crazy. Right. Throw in a 40-degree night with a little bit of slippery tires, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
Well, we are going to have a lot of fun. We expect another great race here at Atlanta on this 1.54-mile tri-oval. Let's take a closer look at it.
Wicked fast. This track was reconfigured back a number of years ago, about 10 years ago. You see the front stretch is 2,300 feet, 24 degrees of banking in the turns. That's why this racetrack is fast. Here's Ty Bodine last year. He's going to enter turn 1. Early on, with good tires, you're going to stay right on the bottom like top, but you're going to see trucks running all over this racetrack, all but wide open around here, down to about 175 miles an hour in the center of the corner.
What is so cool about this track, Phil, is though you can run wide open when you go to qualify for a couple of laps and run a really fast speed, but listen to Todd right now. He's unsure with what to do with that throttle. He knows he wants to hold it wide open, but it won't stick, so he's on it, he's off. He's working the throttle, trying to get the thing through the corner. And what happens? If you're on the bottom working your throttle, trying to get it sticking down there, somebody will just smoke around the outside of you with their foot flat on the floorboard.
Let's look at the Restore Race analysis. 35 trucks will start tonight, 200 miles, 130 laps. Pit window, that could be a little bit high, 60 to 65. You might see some guys coming in before that.
Yeah, most of the guys are talking about maybe 58 laps or something like that, especially early on. But there will be a competition caution at lap 25 because of the limited amount of practice. NASCAR will bring the trucks in at lap 25, and if they come before that, they are not allowed to put any fuel in them, so they have to wait till that competition caution to put fuel in them.
Truck's about to roll onto the racetrack. We'll be right back for it. Welcome back to the American Commercial Lines 200 from Hampton, Georgia, and Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Quad Oval, one of the fastest the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series will take on in this 2007 season. Our starting grid will roll along the bottom of the screen, and grabbing his 33rd career pole, Mike Skinner will lead the field to the green flag tonight. While that rolls along the bottom of the screen, you can make sure to watch for your favorite driver. We want to shine a little more light on a few different drivers. And so tonight in our Speed Spotlight, let's take a closer look at 4 different drivers, starting with Adam Alexander.
And in my Speed Spotlight tonight, Rick, Matt Crafton starting 17th this evening. You know, his racing career really gained momentum in 2000 when he won the NASCAR Elite Division Southwest Series title. Started racing here in the Truck Series in 2001. This is his 6th year behind the wheel of the 88 truck and his 2nd year full-time with crew chief Bud Haefele. They seem to be catching momentum. Started out 2007 with a top 10 and 8th at Daytona. They're currently 9th in series points and very optimistic about a run at a top 5 finish in the championship standings here in 2007. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Adam, I'm going to keep my eye on that number 50 truck. T.J. Bell may have the opportunity of his lifetime here as he joins up with Roush Fenway Racing. He will have Heathcliff Cat Litter as a sponsor on that truck, and they're going to run at least 15 races throughout the rest of the year. Now, the really cool thing about the 50 truck is no one driver is chasing the points, so therefore they can be a little experimental. T.J. Bell says he believes this will be his opportunity to get to victory lane. Michael?
Ray, let's ride along with Joey Clanton. Check him out in our speed spotlight. He's fresh off of a 6th place finish in Daytona. Fresh off, you ask? Why wasn't he racing this truck in California? Only a limited schedule for Joey this year in this truck, but another performance tonight like Daytona, and the Wood Brothers, Phil, might have to give him the keys to this Ford full time.
Michael, let's take a look at Brad Keselowski. He's driving the 7 truck, a kind of a one-off deal, the Hooters Energy Drink Chevrolet right there, from a long-time racing family, the Keselowskis. Bob, his father, was a former ARCA champion and a winner here in the Truck Series. His uncle Ron was a Nextel Cup driver back in the 60s and 70s. And Brad had a 7th place finish at Daytona a couple years ago for his best, but he's been running the Busch Series regularly, and right now this is a one-off truck deal. He starts 28th in that Hooters Energy Drink Chevrolet.
You can't look at that 7 truck without thinking about Alan Kawicki here at Atlanta, winning that championship in that Hooters number 7. Man, that was fun.
Right here at this racetrack.
That's exactly right. Let's go on board. There's my guy, Joey Clanton. He's starting 18th. He's going to run back up in the top 10 again tonight, Rick.
Also going to ride along with 4 other drivers, Bill Lester being one of those. He'll start in the 13th spot.
Kenny Schrader's going to drive the Fastenal Dodge. He's going to start in the 11th spot.
Let's head back down trackside to Ray and Adam Alexander.
Well, thank you, Rick. We've already talked about the competition caution, which will be coming up somewhere around lap 25. Why? Because there's a lot of concern in the garage area. We haven't had enough practice on this track, and this is a track that eats up tires. Which tire, most importantly? Right here, guys, the right front. A number of crew chiefs told me after practice they wouldn't even show the right front tire to their drivers. Adam?
Good news, bad news situation, Ray, for Roush Fenway Racing. The good news is K&N Filters on the truck for 3 races for Travis Waffle here in Martinsville in Kansas. The bad news is despite 9 wins here, and we have trouble on the racetrack.
Wow, that was the 50 truck of T.J. Bell.
Oh, look at Tyler Walker's truck. A lot of damage to that Toyota. You talked about it. Cold tires.
Fix this radiator.
Cold tires, cold night. That's what's going to happen.
Tires spin. You can't be aggressive on these starts. You have to be careful. And a guy that doesn't know, there's got to be some debris on that front stretch, Phil. I saw a bumper bar fall out.
Well, you would think so, but Mike Skinner's going to try to lead this first lap and get 5 points. He is now our point leader because he was tied with that guy.
See the bumper bar?
Yep.
See the bumper bar?
Flying through the air.
And it cut a tire. Someone has hit the bumper bar and cut a tire. The Ford truck of Chase Miller.
Boy, you called it, Michael. There had to be debris. You saw that bumper bar. Looks like that's what's going to bite Chase Miller. What a horrible break for Chase Miller.
Well, what a horrible start for a race. You know, the tires spin, guys run over one another. Let's see if we can see what happened. Look back to the green truck. That's Tyler Walker. They bunch up and wham, he's just going too fast right in the back of the Heathcliff kitty litter truck.
And he continues on the apron of the racetrack, but as you had mentioned, dropped the bumper bar onto the racetrack, and then
this is a great shot. Look at the chain reaction. They just slow down, slow down, slow down. It's really important, Phil, to just be patient on these starts. You got to give guys some room, especially with the weather like we talked about earlier.
16 of Stacy Compton came, and there were a lot of trucks that ran over that bumper bar, Michael.
It went flying through the air. He got some damage. Adam, his nose is all messed up.
Indeed it is, Michael, and he did radio in and say he had a left front tire going down, so perhaps that's the reason for the early issue for T.J. Bell. Tough break for him. Ray just talking about what an opportunity to come drive for Roush Fenway Racing in 15 races here in 2007. Unfortunately, it's an opportunity that gets off to a really poor start here at Atlanta.
He'll be lucky if that nose doesn't cause him some problems later.
So a cold evening brings out a very cold start for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series after 2 laps were under caution at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Debris flying around on the racetrack, but Mike Skinner out in front of the field. Wednesday night on Speed, it's time to go all out. Pink's all out. No negotiations, no sandbagging. It's just run what you bring. It's go or go home excitement. Pink's All Out presented by Napa. Wednesday night, 9 Eastern, only on Speed. The reason for our first caution was debris on the racetrack, but it was caused by this pileup at the beginning of the race.
Right back in here, you're going to see a lot of trucks make some contact. A lot of damage. The 36 truck of Tyler Walker runs in the back of the 50 of TJ Bell, and the bumper bar comes off. Watch this shot right here. Bam! The bumper. Chase Miller, that red truck right in front of Joey Clanton, ran over that.
Watch how violent this looks, Phil.
It's amazing. But Chase Miller in the Ford truck ran over that bumper bar.
Bam!
There's a bumper bar hitting the windshield of Joey Clanton. It cut down his right front tire. Let's take a look at it at full speed. There you see the pull. Watch this here.
I'm not going to say bam again because I start to sound like that cook that does that power. Who's he?
Green flag back out on the racetrack, and we're back underway. Lap 6 of 130, 200 miles scheduled for tonight's American Commercial Lines 200.
Took them all the way up to the top of the racetrack. Matt Crafton went right to the top to drive by 2 trucks.
In cup practice earlier today and in bush practice, even in practice, they were all over the place already. All the way from the wall to the apron, guys running every line.
Skinner out to a pretty good lead over Todd Bodine and Jack Sprague. Those two running side by side in 4th position. Bodine taking it away.
Yeah, Todd's going to take over second from Jack Sprague right there. Todd's truck was awfully good in practice. There's a good battle right there. There's Ron Hornaday, the 33. We saw a little bit of damage to the rear of his truck. It doesn't. Oh, a little damage to the front also.
And also look at the right rear all hung out there. Wow. We didn't see that from the back view.
Sure didn't.
That can't help him aerodynamically, can it, Phil?
You wouldn't think so.
Well, the way it's, we talk about side force. The way that right rear's all punched out there, it might be helping him. You never know.
It might keep that back end underneath that truck.
That's right. He can drive it harder down in the corner because he can lean against the air with that right rear fender.
Watch Matt Crafton in this 88 truck. He was very, very fast in practice. That's Clint Boyer, the 2 truck. Kevin Harvick's 2nd truck.
It would be fun to see Matt Crafton go up there and battle for this win, wouldn't it?
It really would. He's going to do it. It's just a matter of time. He's been close so many times.
And the way that truck's working tonight, it might be tonight.
That team just continues to get stronger and stronger.
He's found him a nice feel up on the top of the racetrack, and that's a good line here at Atlanta.
He drove by the 14 of Rick Crawford. Now he's going to drive by the 21 of Kelly Byers. This is the truck that Mark Martin drove at California and came so close to winning. Ray, what's going on with the 4?
Well, Phil, they've got a problem with the steering. Of course, he was involved in that lap 1 accident out there and may have had that bumper bar hit him, and he said it feels like the truck is completely towed out to the right, so these guys are going to have to go to work on it a little bit. Chase said there's no way he can drive it with as bad as the steering feels right now.
And as Chase has problems, Matt Crafton really moving toward the front. He moved past Kelly Byers and Rick Crawford, grabs the 6th position.
He started 17th, Rick. He's already up to 6th. We've run, what, 3 or 4 green flag laps?
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Phil, his 8th lap was his fastest lap at a 30.62. Skinner's fastest lap was his 9th lap at a 30.61. Virtually the same time around this track for the 6th place guy and the 1st place guy.
Brendan Gaughan just kissed the wall coming out of turn 4.
Got a good battle. That's the 33 of Ron Hornaday, the 08 of Chad McCumbee. There's the 40 of Mike Bliss coming off a great qualifying effort for the Nextel Cup race. Ooh, Hornaday gets loose in the middle. Bliss is going to try to go by on the inside, and there's Ted Musgrave in the 9. He was awfully good in practice, had a very poor qualifying effort. He said he ran wide open. He didn't know why he didn't run any faster.
Well, Ron, if he knew how damaged his truck was right now, he'd think, no wonder I'm about to spin out. We might have misjudged the effects of that crash on that truck. It looks like it's out of shape on him, Phil.
We saw him get big time loose in the middle of those 3 trucks right there. There's Dennis Setzer, the Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet on the inside. Clint Boyer's going to drive it right to the top of the racetrack. No surprise that Brendan Gaughan is already up there in a South Point Chevrolet.
Brendan Gaughan liking the higher line around most racetracks. Normally run where they're not.
It's like baseball. You want to hit them where they ain't, and racing where you go where they're not. Look at Brendan. He's about to hit the wall again.
3 wide.
Boyer's probably thinking, who's this 08 driving around me? And where's he think he's going?
Chad McCumbee in the 08.
The Garmin GPS store Chevrolet.
Yep, making his way up toward the front. We mentioned Clint Boyer running in this race. He's doing triple duty this weekend.
You know, we talked about Matt Crafton being fun to watch him drive up there and run for this win. What about McCumbee? He just gets better and better each week. He's passing Brendan Gaughan there, driving up near the top 10. Wouldn't be surprised to see him battle for a win one day either.
I really like the way this guy drives. He doesn't drive beyond his equipment or his experience level. He started out last year, had a couple 3 good top 10 runs on some fast racetracks, and he's doing a great job tonight.
Kind of reminds you of OBP, the way he just sort of takes what he's got and maximizes it.
Absolutely.
Gets all he can get.
Absolutely.
Benny was a master at that. Everybody said he's smooth and easy, and next thing you know, he's coming around to lap you.
There's another smooth and easy driver, Johnny Benson, making his way up toward the front. Adam?
Smooth and easy driver, Rick, but it's not been a smooth and easy afternoon and evening so far for Johnny Benson. After qualifying 3rd earlier this afternoon, engine change, that forces him to the back at the start. And because he was in the back, he got into that debris that we saw earlier. Several guys got into in that opening lap crash, put a hole in the left front of the race truck, but they feel like everything is okay, and it would appear that it is. Starting at the tail of the field, Johnny has already worked his way into the top 20 and diving to the inside of Ted Musgrave looking for more.
You know, one of the things we need to realize is there was very limited practice time for these trucks today. They came in expecting a 9:30 practice this morning. There was rain. The track was wet. They didn't get out onto the racetrack until after 12:30. Just about an hour of practice is all they received, and then they qualified. And that's the reason why in about 9 laps or 8 laps, we're going to have a competition caution. They're going to bring them onto pit road, make sure that the handling of the trucks are what they're wanting, and Travis Kvapil is going to want to make some adjustments because that truck right there is a handful for him.
Battle for the lead.
There goes Todd Bodine on the inside, the Lumber Liquidators Toyota. You know, this is the 1-year anniversary. Last year, this race was the first time he had Lumber Liquidators on that truck. He took it to victory lane, and he's going to try to do it again.
He took him to a championship. Now he's going to lead the race. I think it's been a very nice relationship.
Yeah. Lumber Liquidators have spent their money well as far as sponsorship with Todd Bodine and this number 30 Germain Racing team.
And remember, if you want some wood, tell him to send the good-looking guy to deliver it.
Yeah. And another good-looking guy, Ray Dunlap. What's going on with his team?
Well, I don't know about that, Rick, but I will tell you this, that Todd Bodine is not feeling well today. He's a little under the weather. It's a cross between a flu symptom and also a sinus infection of some kind. And, of course, every time we come to Atlanta this time of year, the dogwoods begin to bloom. That may be part of it. But Todd not feeling very good. But he told me right before the race, he said, don't worry. When I get that helmet on and this truck runs me to the front, I'll be feeling fine. And that's exactly where we are right now. Now, Clint Boyer had a really good starting position, but that Camping World Chevrolet has dropped way back in the field. He's back about 15th in the field right now. His truck is way, way, way too loose. He has said, we have got to make some major changes on this thing. I can't hold on to it coming off the corners.
I think you're going to hear a lot of that if you listen into the radios of most of these drivers because of the limited time that they've had on the racetrack.
Yeah, they were, as you mentioned, they were expecting a couple hours. And, you know, we talked about it during our practice show. We had practice, the one practice we had on TV. And we talked about, you know, a lot of times these teams will come with something they want to try and work on it. And if they did that and it didn't work, then they had so little time to change this back to a more conventional setup, and then bam, they were out of time. So that's why we see a lot of trucks right now struggling that you would think wouldn't be.
And then that's the challenge in truck racing, Busch or Cup. You come with a setup, and if you want to change from a traditional setup to a Kolbein setup, from Kolbeining the right front to the left front, it takes 30 minutes to switch it over. Practice is over.
Right.
You don't get enough time to develop and learn these setups. Ray, what's going on with number 2? You got something?
Yeah, that's that's exactly what happened to them today, Michael, is Clint was not happy with the steering box that they had in this truck, so they had to pull it out and make a change on that. So that takes away about 25 minutes of your practice time. Charlie Wilson, the crew chief on this truck, said once we got that fixed, we're ready to go to work on it. But apparently they didn't have enough time to get it just the way Clint wanted it, and it's just one of those things. You got to work on one project and don't get to work on the others.
Well, he's about a second off our leader, Todd Bodine. You see Todd going into 3. The cat that I'm impressed with tonight, Phil, Craig Kinzer, running 3rd in that number 47 truck. And look, closing on Skinner. He's right there tonight.
He really has come into his own. He was very, very good in practice at California. He didn't quite get the run that they were hoping, but had a great run last year on a similar racetrack at Las Vegas. Got a top 10 finish, his career best, and he's awfully good tonight. He's caught Mike Skinner.
And that's not something you get to say very often. As you've caught Mike Skinner. You know what I think I might do? I might have to wonder what Ginn does. He's on all these cars and they're all hauling the mail. Craig Kinzer's getting ready to pass Skinner, driving up to 3rd. Mark Martin's leading the points, qualified up front. Everything that man touches is doing really well lately.
He probably has some land that does pretty well too in developments.
Ginn Resorts, the sponsor of 47, Craig Kinzer. Adam Alexander.
Let's talk a little bit about Joey Clanton, the 09 truck. He started 18th, worked his way into the top 10. He's a hometown boy, not too far away from here is where he grew up. He's raced on this track quite a bit. The good news is he's got a good race truck tonight. The bad news is the crew can talk to him. He cannot talk to the crew, so some radio communication issues, despite a good run early for local boy Joey Clanton, Ray.
Adam, on the left of your screen, you can see Mike Skinner and the 47 running there. Now, it won't be long now before Skinner may let the 47 go, because Mike just said on the radio, my truck is wicked loose, very, very loose. And when that 47 gets up there and run on him, it's even worse. So you may see Skinner pull over if the number 47 of Craig Kinzer is able to catch up to him.
A lot of times we hear Ray or Adam talk about the radio communication. Well, this is that exact communication Ray was talking about.
Terrible loose.
When you get three terribles, Michael, that's bad.
Especially out of Skinner. We've seen the whole right side of his truck before, driving away from the field, leading the race, never says a word. Tonight it must be bad. And he had fallen into the clutches of the 3rd place truck of Craig Kinzer, and this caution comes out. His team will now go to work on that truck. They'll try to get it up under him a little bit better. How good does it feel, Phil, to be running 2nd? Terrible loose. You know, that's when you're running 25th and your crew chief, you tell your crew chief you're loose, and he said, well, everybody's loose. Well, he's faster than me. He can't be as loose as me. So Mike's got a good problem to have right now. His truck's not good, and he's running 2nd.
And if he fixes it just a little bit, helps it just a little bit, then he's going to be able to run with that 30 truck.
This is a situation where we knew the caution was going to come out. This is a competition caution. NASCAR is giving these teams an opportunity, all of the teams, an opportunity to come onto pit road, make any adjustments that they need to make to their trucks to make them run better. And so right now the pit road is closed, but we're expecting next time by that they will be able to come down pit road. And this is when they can put fuel into the trucks and also make any adjustments.
Look at there. The old Aaron's Lucky Dog is going to go to David Starr. Now, he's struggled all day. He didn't qualify well. He didn't practice well. And he's already lapped. That's so uncharacteristic of both that truck and David Starr. But, you know, at the beginning of the show, we said nobody beats Aaron's. And I bet you David Starr's thinking, you're right, Mike. Nobody beats Aaron's right now. I'm going to get back on the lead lap.
The problem is, though, as we talk about him getting lapped so soon, this is going to be awfully hard for them to make enough adjustments to try to get that truck enough better to be to David's liking.
Well, he caught a mulligan. You know, when you play golf, you get a mulligan every now and then.
You get a lot of mulligans.
Well, I don't get them. I take them. But this cat right here has caught a mulligan. He's diagnosed his truck for 20-some laps. Now he needs to call the crew and say, look, we didn't have any luck today making little changes, if that's what they did. Let's make some big ones right now.
Actually, they made major changes just before qualifying, and I don't think those worked out because they didn't qualify well. Adam Alexander.
And let's start our pit coverage talking about Aaron Fike. He started 5th this evening. He's currently riding 6th. He said the truck a little loose, not bad. Going to make 4 tires the change here. Slight track bar adjustment. They will top it off with fuel. Ray Dunlap.
Todd Bodine on the top of your screen in his Lumber Liquidators Toyota. There are going to be no changes for him, just 4 tires for that number 30 truck. Now, a lot bigger problem for Mike Skinner in the center of your screen. The gas pedal is broken on the inside of his truck. He said he can barely get a feel with it for his foot. That could be a big problem throughout the course of the night. Todd Bodine is down and away, and he has to slow up just a little bit as the 7 truck comes in. He will race with the 10 off of pit road, but it looks like Mike Skinner will be the first to the line.
Ray called it Mike Skinner, then Jack Sprague across the commitment line as they exited pit road. We'll be back more from Atlanta. Tomorrow on Speed, it's one of the most prestigious events in American motorsports history. Don't miss the 55th running of the 12 Hours of Sebring, as some of the biggest names in motorsports battle for the coveted title. The American Le Mans Series 12 Hours of Sebring, tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern, live right here on Speed. We talked very highly of Matt Crafton early, but problems here with that spoiler.
When they hit him on the first lap, well, I shouldn't say that because I don't know if he got any. I don't know if he's got any damage, but from the first lap, those spoiler braces have been off that. I thought he got some damage in that first lap wreck. Watch this cat trying to park in the pits, Phil.
Yeah, the 09 of Joey Clanton's going to come down pit road. You have to have your left rear tire in the box. He does not have his left rear tire, and they're unsure whether to do anything. They start to put gas in it. The NASCAR official, I'm sure, says, no, you're not in the box. He backs out in the traffic. Fortunately, nobody hits him, and he pulls in, gets his left rear tire in the pit box. They go ahead and do the adjustments, but he comes out in 27th spot due to all that. He had worked his way up into the top 10.
And you know what's bad about that? You don't have anybody to blame but yourself. You have to say, I'm sorry, guys, I'll get it back for you, and that's all you can do. Ray, what's going on with Kinser? He's hauling tonight.
Yeah, and the pit stop wasn't so good, Michael, but it was nobody's fault. The problem was he got blocked in, so the team had to push him backwards and let him get out of the pit stall. Running up there in 3rd position, he came in, lost just a couple spots, and may have had a little bit of contact with Matt Crafton on the exit of pit road. Adam?
Travis Kvapil started 16th tonight and wasn't running great on that first one. Very, very free was the call for Kvapil, but he said it got snug as the run went on. They did make a slight track bar adjustment. 4 tires and fuel on their first pit stop of the night, lap 27, and now Kvapil finds himself riding in the 6th position as we size it up for a restart here at Atlanta.
And again, Travis Kvapil in that number 6. Mark Martin had a lot of success in the 6 truck a year ago, even at this racetrack. Looked as though he was in position to win it. Todd Bodine actually stole it from him on the backstretch.
That was some quick pit work by Mike Deem and his guys. They came in 13th and came out 6th. Wonder if maybe they put 2 tires on. More than likely they put 4 on. I think it was just that good a pit stop.
I think so too, Phil. I don't think you can go 25 laps here at Atlanta and put on 2. That'd be trouble. You can see the last truck there. That's David Starr. He's back on the lead lap. Let's see if those guys can make anything out of tonight. That's how you win a championship, Phil. And that's how you race for a championship. And I'm sure those guys thought they could race for this championship. Tonight, we're going to see what they're made of. Coming from the back, can they make it back to the front?
Field works its way out of turn number 4. Again out in front of the field, it's Mike Skinner bringing them to the green flag. Jack Sprague just behind him, 1 and 2 in the points right now. Skinner and Sprague lead the field into 1.
Sprague's probably wanting to get him some points, isn't he?
He'd like to get him 5 points. He knows Skinner already has 5 points. These guys think they're going to be in a dogfight all year long for this point championship. But you know, a lot of our people that you would think would be our point contenders are having great seasons. Johnny Benson with 2 top 6 finishes this year. Ted Musgrave has 2 top 10 finishes this year, along with obviously Jack Sprague and Mike Skinner with 2 top 5 finishes.
You have to have those finishes repeatedly because somewhere along the road you're going to blow a tire or you're going to break an engine. Something's going to go wrong. You're going to finish 30th. You need all those top 5s and those top 10s to overcome those bad finishes. Sometimes you'll see a guy finish 7th or 8th all year long, never have a problem. You look up and he's beating you in the points. Oh no, what's wrong with Johnny?
I was just going to say Johnny's had 2 top 10 finishes this year already, but something's definitely wrong.
Sounds like a tire's flat.
He's going to be able to make it to pit road this time.
Bring her in, buddy. Bring her in.
Yeah, it looks like a flat tire.
Get ready. He's coming down right now. He's coming down pit road right now.
Adam Alexander, here he comes.
Well, the word on the radio was possibly an engine problem. We told you just a few minutes ago, Rick, about the fact that this race team had to change engines after qualifying third earlier this afternoon. The crew on the wall ready to take care of this machine. The engine is shut off as he pulls to pit road, and as you can see, the hood going up. Johnny Benson with a great qualifying run earlier today, but not the day that he would have hoped for. Fire under the hood. A tough scene for this race team and a tough day for the driver who entered third in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship.
You know, that thing was really rattling when we got that onboard shot, and you thought it might have sounded like rubber flapping or whatever. That thing was really doing some rattling, so some pretty serious damage to that engine.
Listen to his onboard. It sounds just like a flat tire.
Short opening now. About 10 more coming.
Boy, it sure did sound like a flat tire, but Johnny knew exactly what it was. Got a battle for second. Todd Bodine is going to drive around Jack Sprague to take over the second spot.
Kind of makes you wonder as a race car driver, you know, you broke an engine already once today, now you break another one. Is there something wrong with the truck? Is there something that's going on that isn't the engine's fault that is creating the problem?
Here's Kelly Byers, the 21 truck. He's being shown in the 10th spot, but just watch this a couple moments ago. That's him on the outside, the 21, the 08 of Chevy Montgomery. Look how loose he gets. Chases it all the way up the hill, about halfway down the backstretch, gets her straightened out.
Ooh, look at that angle he had in that thing. Bet she's saying, oh, beans. Better hang on.
Full.
He made his first Truck Series start here last year.
Be switching duties with Mark Martin in that 21 truck. Ray Dunlap.
Hey, Rick, we went about 30 laps there, not of them all under green, but about 30 before our first round of pit stops. So let's take a look at some of the tires down here. This, of course, is a right front tire that we saw come off of a truck, and you see they got into the cords a little bit already. So a lot of concern down here from the crew chiefs about how much camber they have and what exactly they should do for the next round of pit stops. We can go 58 or 60 laps, but I don't know that anybody's going to chance that.
Boy, if that's a right front tire, that looks like almost a not enough camber. That's the outside edge, right?
Yeah, you don't see that very often. These guys usually want to lean that tire in as much as they can to get ultimate traction and help that truck turn in the corner.
It could be another byproduct of so little practice time, so little time to get some tire sheets to see how your camber was.
3 Toyotas out in front of the field. Mike Skinner, Todd Bodine, and Jack Sprague. 2 drivers have led at this racetrack. It's been Skinner and Bodine up to this point. Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's Mike Skinner and Todd Bodine 1 and 2, but they've got to keep their eyes on the rearview mirror because the man on the move is the 47 of Craig Kinzer. He's taken over third from Jack Sprague. Rick Crawford rounds out our top 5.
He's going to be there in a minute, Rick. Kinzer is hauling. He's about 3 seconds, a little over 2 seconds behind this battle, but as soon as these guys go sideways, and look at Skinner rolling over. You know that Skinner's truck isn't right when he does that. He usually races you for every inch of the track.
Absolutely. But that's a smart move. It just seemed like something flipped a switch last year with about 8 or 10 races to go. They started finishing in the top 5 every week, if not the top 5, certainly the top 10. That team is really on a mission to win this championship, and they're so consistent nowadays.
Craig Kinzer picked up 3/4 of a second on Skinner that lap. He now goes from just under 3 seconds down to just over 1.5 seconds. So there you see the 47 truck. He's coming, Phil.
He really is. Rick Crawford's having a good run. We talked a moment ago about him being up in the top 5, and he struggled a little bit in practice. He really wasn't sure before the race. Look at this 3-wide battle. There's Matt Crafton on the inside. That was Brad Keselowski, the 7 on the outside, and it was Bill Lester in the middle. There's Bill Lester. That's his onboard right there. There's Terry Cook, the 59 Harris Trucking Toyota on the inside. That's a battle for the 24th spot right there, I think.
There's battles everywhere.
Around this racetrack, you've got to keep your head on a swivel.
There goes Stacy Compton, the 16 Ford on the inside of the 59 of Terry Cook.
Man, everybody's switching rides on me. I forgot that was a Ford. Good call, Phil. It's been a Chevy since the history of time.
Since it started, since the series started.
Again, Johnny Benson having problems with, we believe, a motor. Adam, what's going on?
Well, and they actually think it's a carburetor issue. In fact, that's what it was. They're pushing him back out now, and he's going to get out and make some laps. The engine is running, which is a solid sign. I went over and leaned my head inside the window and said, Johnny, you have any idea what it is? He said, I have no idea. It just started popping, and then it lost power. I asked Trip Bruce as he walked by working on the truck, is it the carburetor? He nodded his head and said yes, and that's where the crew focused most of their work. Good news is Johnny Benson going back on the racetrack. Bad news is he's going to be several laps in arrears and out of the hunt here tonight.
That's not something that typically goes bad, a carburetor.
No, and how did it catch on fire? I mean, I thought the whole motor was burning up.
Well, is it a possibility? Obviously, when they changed the motor, could they have not tightened something on that?
Possible, but and maybe that's what it was, Phil. When
fuel line.
We heard it cutting out, it just wasn't getting any fuel, and the fuel went onto the motor and caught a fire.
Could very well have been what it was.
Caught a fire. That's what we say in Owensboro.
We're getting a report that somebody smells some rear end gear on the racetrack. They're thinking it might be the 99. You see a little bit of damage on the front from probably that chain reaction deal earlier on. You see his last lap was 164 miles per hour, but he was a lap down on this restart. I was really surprised to see this truck. He finished third, I think, in this race last year. I'm sorry, the fall race last year. And I saw him be lapped there early on, but he's obviously off the pace.
Eric Darnell being scored 2 laps down. His teammate T.J. Bell 3 laps down. Travis Kvapil, his other teammate, not running so bad, or at least 7 in this one. It's Todd Bodine and Mike Skinner out in front. Craig Kinzer, your top 3. So you watch NASCAR race day. You've seen Jimmy and Kenny and their antics. Now you think you can do better? Well, send us your best impersonations of Jimmy and Kenny, and you might see yourself on race day. It's all part of My Race Day. Log on to speedtv.com for more information.
I like Kenny and Jimmy.
That's a good show.
It's not one to impersonate, though. I think those two they definitely can stand alone. Oh, we've got some big problems there on Terry Cook's number 59 Toyota Tundra.
Ray told us this race may be about keeping the air in the right front tire. There's the first one to go right there, Ray. The 59 of Terry Cook lost the right front tire.
It's going to be real interesting to watch these tires that come off the trucks when they come to pit road here in a minute. Who's able to keep the tires under them the best?
Third caution of the night coming out on lap 56. Just moved to 57. Take another look at what took place. You see the damage on the side of that truck.
He definitely made some contact. There he is running up high on the high side of the racetrack. Ooh. Well, that thing didn't really blow out, did it?
I think it probably went to the next corner and blew out.
Yeah.
And it might have blown out.
Here.
There it goes.
There it was.
Yeah. It might have blown out as a result of him brushing the wall off getting a fender into the tire. Maybe it wasn't excessive wear.
Exactly.
Maybe he just cut his tire after running into the wall off too.
It may not be fair to blame it on the tire, but he certainly made a little contact early on and then went down maybe the next corner, the one after that, and the thing went down. There's our lucky dog right there. That's Bill Lester in the 15.
Courtesy of Aaron's, he's going to get the lucky dog. And what that means, Phil, is that under each caution, since there's no racing back to the yellow in NASCAR racing anymore, NASCAR felt like it's important to give a guy a lap back if he's in a position to get it. And that's what Bill Lester's receiving, courtesy of Aaron's. Adam, what's happening in the pit?
Loose, loose, loose. That's the word for Rick Crawford. Started the night 10th, currently riding 5th, 4 tires fuel, and they are going to make a chassis adjustment to tighten it up. Ray.
1 pound out of the left rear for Todd Bodine. He's just a little bit tight off of the corner. And Mike Skinner, they made a track bar adjustment last time, went down. He said, please put that track bar back up. I did not like the way this truck was handling it all. These two teams have been running together on the racetrack. The 30 will be out of the pits way early before the 5. And Mike Skinner has to really crank it hard to the right to get by the number 7.
Todd Bodine with another good stop makes his way back out onto the racetrack ahead of Jack Sprague. So adjustments being made for the second time in this race at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
This item from Craftsman is the 7-piece T-through handle hex key set. Very, very good, very versatile. Now, if you look at this ball end, it's got a 25% tilt angle. That allows you to get to all those hard-to-reach places. The neck, very wide, great handle, so it makes for great torque when you're turning things. And then also, there's an extra key here on the handle. If you need lots of torque, stick it in. That extra key makes for much easier situations. Altogether, there are 7, up to 1/4 of an inch. And as always, these are made by Craftsman, and you can find them at your local Sears store.
Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway, and the trucks still making their way around the racetrack under our 3rd caution of the night. And just moments ago, Mike Skinner made his way onto pit road, and let's hear about what he thought about that pit stop.
Either going to have to pit me shorter or him longer, one. Okay, buddy.
Trying to work out some traffic issues, and it happened again, Rick. You talked about, we heard Ray say how hard he had to crank out of the pits. You can see the truck, the 7 truck coming in here in just a second. The Hooters Energy truck is going to pull in right when Mike wanted to leave, and watch. Oh!
See how hard he had to crank the wheel, and that slowed him down. That probably allowed the 60 of Jack Sprague to get by him. Why don't we see if we can talk to Todd Bodine, our leader here. Hey, Todd, Phil Parsons, can you hear me?
I got you, Philzy.
This thing looks awfully strong. Is it as good as it was last year when you won this race?
Actually, I think it's a little better. It seems like the longer the run goes, the more consistent our truck gets. Was getting a little tight there at the end of that run, but it's pretty good. You know, we struggled pretty bad in California, really loose all night, and the whole Germain race team went to work to figure out why, what we had to do to change our setup to make it so it would run longer, and lo and behold, I think they got it. It's a pretty good truck right now. This Tundra is good, and everybody on the Lumber Liquidators crew's done a great job, so hopefully we can hang on.
What's Mike Jr. telling you about your tire wear? How are your tires looking?
Actually, the tires look really well. The outside of the right front is a little chewed up, but not too bad. So if I get out and get a lead here, I'm going to try to take it easy. Right there at the end of that run, I was trying to run a little higher and see if I could get some grip, make the truck get off the right front a little bit. But we'll just see what we got here.
All right, we appreciate it. Keep it going, man.
Thanks, pal.
I really wish he wouldn't call you Philzy. There's something about that gets on my nerves.
There's Tyler Walker right there. Remember that happened on the very first lap of the race. They didn't even get to turn 1 yet. And look at that truck. It almost looks like brand new with a little tape on it.
Wow. I'm impressed. That OCT 360 stuff must really work.
We'll be right back with more racing from Atlanta after this.
Furnishings.
Welcome back under the lights for the American Commercial Lines 200 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Something new to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We take a look at our Fastenal Fast Start, which is A.J. Allmendinger. Started this race in 27, made his way all the way up to the 11th position as we are being scored right now.
He was running some really good lap times too, wasn't he, Michael?
Yeah, you know, AJ's just getting used to these big stock cars and trucks. He qualified at a 31.47. He ran a lap a minute ago, 31.10. Running around here faster than he qualified and driving through the field. Great pit stop by Jason Overstreet and the boys. And look at that Aaron's Dream Machine with the lucky dog on the side of it, making your dreams come true.
I tell you, that truck really looks good.
I think it's sharp.
Can we talk about the Fastenal Fast Start? Let's talk about something as far as history in this racing series. 250 starts for Rick Crawford and Jack Sprague, and some amazing things accomplished by both drivers, and obviously Jack Sprague with a very impressive resume.
These are two of the guys that when you talk about the truck series, you think of Rick Crawford, you think of Jack Sprague, Ron Hornaday, Mike Skinner. Well, we have 7 former champions now running this series full-time this year.
And 6 of them are in the top 10 in the point standings right now.
And one of my favorite Craftsman Truck Series moments was when Rick Crawford, short track driver from Alabama, took the checkered flag at Daytona. I mean, he was so thankful to have the opportunity to race at Daytona and then win the race down there. That was a great day.
Todd Bodine brings the field to the green flag, and we're back underway in Atlanta.
Halfway right now, 130 laps the scheduled distance. We just completed lap 65.
And if you do the math, you know, that's roughly halfway.
You are all over it tonight, Michael.
Thank you.
Jack Sprague staying on the back bumper of Todd Bodine, and Mike Skinner throwing that number 5 Toyota Tundra up there as well.
Oh, that's not going to work.
Coming out of turn 4.
How do they sort that out?
But that was Clint Boyer on the outside in that number 2.
They looked for sure they were headed into a wreck, and then they just all drove through it.
That's the beauty of this racetrack.
You can see Matt Crafton. We talked about how good he's running up top. He drives around, tries to get around the outside of Allmendinger. AJ rides up the track and takes his line away. Good battles all over this racetrack.
Especially right after restart. See Travis Quapple the 6th, Clint Boyer the 2 going by him. There's the 16 of Stacy Compton, the 1 of Aaron Fike, who's having a great run. He's being shown right now in the 6th spot.
Clint Boyer looking to the inside of that group.
Clint's worked on that truck, Phil. We started this race. He couldn't drive it.
There goes Crafton. He found him a little room on the outside in that 88 truck.
I love that.
Whoa, problems. Chad McCumbee gets into the wall. It looked as though
David Starr was awfully close to that.
Well, you can see that it looked like the incident started with some contact to the left rear, Phil.
Yeah, it sure did.
Got all smeared around on his tire and the fender bent, and then that shot him up into the wall.
Right side damage.
See, the left rear tire is flat.
See if we can see what happened.
Going to drive down in turn number 1. That's Chad going by the outside of David Starr. David loses control of that truck and makes some contact. Actually cuts the left rear tire down as he wobbled up into him and then put Chad into the outside wall. Tough break for Chad. We talked about him earlier, doing such a great job, and just a victim of circumstances here.
Didn't do anything wrong. Just drove around the outside of a cat, and expected that cat not to lose control of his truck. And when that happened, he was into the wall.
You could see before he even got into the outside wall, the air had already gone out of that left rear tire. It's amazing how quick these tires go down when you cut one down.
Riding along with Johnny Benson.
See what Johnny thinks.
He's going to get a good view of this right here.
Johnny thinks, please save it, please save it.
In front of you. Get out, get out, get out. Good job, good job.
Rick Crawford, vantage point.
Yeah, he's obviously ahead of that incident. See, the caution light comes on. That was his teammate David Starr that was involved in that accident.
Aaron's lucky dog goes to the 16 of Stacy Compton, and so Compton will get back onto the lead lap. That'll be 24 trucks on the lead lap. Todd Bodine leading the field here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
6-2.
Speed Fantasy Cup season's in full throttle. Don't miss your chance to win $10,000 in March Motor Madness. Log on to speedtv.com for more information and sign up today. Green flag flies again at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Todd Bodine in front. Mike Skinner, Jack Sprague, Craig Kinzer, and Rick Crawford, your top 5.
Let's see if Mike Skinner, Jeff Hensley did some adjustments on this truck. See if they're able to hang in here with Todd Bodine this time.
Matt Crafton has become the star of the Highline show. Every time you look up, that bright yellow truck is right out against the outside wall.
Another guy we've got to keep our eye on is the number 2 of Clint Boyer. He's making a move toward the front.
Pretty impressed with Clint Boyer's team. You know, that truck was junk when the race started. He dropped all the way back into the late teens, early 20s.
There's Matt Crafton on the 88. We were talking about him. There's Dennis Setzer, the 75, giving that truck a good run. He's up in the top 10.
He was shot out of a cannon there, it looked like, just in front of Matt Crafton. And changes to that Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet. Tom Ackerman now the crew chief for that team.
Look at Mike Skinner looking on the inside of Todd Bodine.
Now, Todd knows he's got some issues with that right front. Will he sort of do like Skinner's done and lay off, let Skinner take the lead for a little while? and I think that's just what he did.
He told us he wanted to get a big enough lead that he could back off, but he may achieve the same thing right here by letting Skinner set the pace and maybe easing up a little bit.
Those guys are being very friendly to one another tonight. You know what I think? I bet you Mike knows that Todd doesn't feel good.
That's probably it.
So
That's probably it.
They're just working
I'm sure
together.
that's exactly what it is, Michael.
Very considerate, I think.
On board with Ken Schrader in that Fastenal Dodge.
Just look at the names that are racing in this race. So there's Travis Kvapil. There's Ken Schrader. You got A.J. Allmendinger. I mean, all through the field, you've got guys that have won on about every level they've ever competed.
7 former champions of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series competing full-time in this series.
That's just amazing, really, that there's 7 former champions in the series at the same time. What a great side-by-side battle for 7th. Dennis Setzer, the 75, Matt Craft in the 88. Caution, Joey Clanton.
Joey Clanton bringing out her 5th caution. And look who gets involved. Bill Lester and Travis Kvapil also getting caught up in this.
Now that grass is slippery because of the rain we've had, so now where's he going to go?
He's going to drive back through the Legend track onto the racetrack. Bill Lester's going to drive down pit road, going to rejoin the field. I think both of these guys will stay on the lead lap.
It all started when Clanton had trouble off 4. And how these guys got involved, I don't really know.
See a pretty big donut on the right in front of the left rear tire on Travis Kvapil's truck. Let's see if we can see what happened, Michael, to cause this lot of grass up on the apron of the racetrack.
Here comes Clanton.
He's on the inside of a side-by-side battle right there. He loses control. That was Ron Hornaday he was side-by-side with.
Right along with Joey.
And man, making some good time too, Phil.
Still there.
He was racing for the 13th spot, was Clanton.
He's in the grass. He stays on the very inside of the racetrack, but well, I tell you, you can't really blame him for being in the way there. He was on the very inside of the racetrack.
But what about, no telling what he thought when he heard those two. Watch these 2 trucks go by him.
They were completely sideways when they went by him. So undoubtedly, the 15 of Bill Lester and the 6 of Travis Kvapil made contact back somewhere before that.
Well, let's get inside of Bill Lester's truck, see what happens. There's a wreck up ahead. Travis slows down.
Easy, pit road. Oh. Easy.
Travis committed to the bottom. Bill was already there. Bill was running a lot faster at that time than Travis.
You're good.
Travis did the perfect job. He saw the smoke. Okay. He let off and slowed down. Now, Bill, he didn't see the smoke, but Phil, just think, he was buried deeper down in the corner, and so his view was obstructed. He couldn't see what Travis saw, and so he was still on the gas, and all of a sudden it was just right in his lap.
That's exactly right. Adam.
And the call from Mike Beam, the crew chief, change the 4 tires, pull out left side, pull out the left front fender. And they also said, and this is very important, obviously, check the front grille because he went through that grass. And Michael talked about how loose the sod is because of the rain we had in the Atlanta area earlier today. So they wanted to make sure they checked the grille to make sure it's clean. It appears to be from our camera view that he is okay. But I would anticipate this Ford Fusion or this Ford F-150 to come back down pit road to make sure they can do a little bit more damage fixing before they send him back out because they weren't totally satisfied with the amount of time they had when they came down the first time.
That K&N, is that a cafeteria?
Filters. K&N filters.
Aaron's lucky dog going to the 59 of Terry Cook. So Terry Cook will put his truck back on the lead lap, and that will continue to have 24 on the lead lap at Atlanta. Welcome back to the American Commercial Lines 200. We want to take a closer look at tonight's Stay in the Game with Just for Men moments.
I use that stuff. Works great.
Here's Kelly Byers, the 21. We saw him get real loose early on. Did a great save. He was able to save the truck, stay in the race, and he's running in the top 10 right now.
Well, that was as close as you want to get.
He is staying in the game with Just for Men hair color. That's Kelly Byers.
And for you men out there that want to color your hair, there's nothing wrong with that.
Speaking from experience.
Exactly.
Get a couple trucks making their way through the infield, and we had rain this morning, and so A lot of that grass got kicked up into the grill area of the number 6 for Travis Kvapil.
The reason they're taking so much time to clean that out, that's where the air the officials had to do a little horticultural work too, but they have to clean that grill up because that's where the air goes in to cool these engines through the radiator. So they have to get that as clean as they can so they don't overheat.
Phil, I'm actually impressed that you knew what was going on there.
Horticulture?
Well, actually, they were working with grass.
Yeah, I don't do that much at all.
Green flag came back out. Mike Skinner in front of the field now. Todd Bodine and Jack Sprague. We've talked a lot about those 3 trucks. And another one throwing his name into the mix, the 47 of Craig Kinzer.
He's going to drive by the outside of Jack Sprague. They're side by side going down the backstretch.
Also in this mix, Rick Crawford, and there on the outside, Clint Boyer, and that number 2, and Matt Crafton. Names we've talked about all race long. They are making their way to the front. It's just 50 laps of racing to go.
I'm telling you, I think Matt Crafton has passed more trucks tonight than any other truck on the racetrack.
He's going around a Toyota there of Jack Sprague and bringing Rick Crawford with him. When Crawford drives around Sprague here, if he's able to complete the pass of the first 6 trucks, we got Chevys, Fords, and Toyotas involved. So this thing is sorting out to be a battle between manufacturers as well as drivers.
And how about a battle between the 2 guys who have started 250 races in this series, Jack Sprague and Rick Crawford. Ray Dunlap, what's going on with pit strategy tonight?
Well, Rick, I talked at the top of the show about keeping air in that right front tire. Well, now the crew chiefs are really worried down here. They had hoped to come down pit road right around lap 90. If we stay green for quite a while here, this could be a big concern for all of these guys. We've seen a lot of cords on the right front tires here. They figured if they pit at 90, they can make it to lap 120. Everything would be fine there, right? Then get their last set of tires. If we get along green here, these crew chiefs are going to get very nervous. Adam?
Well, and I talked to some crew chiefs in the garage area today, Ray, and I asked him, ideally, where would you like to pit in relation to the end of the race? And all of them said somewhere around 30 laps to go. So that would back up exactly what you said, somewhere in that lap 90 to 100 mark. But with him having last pitted at lap 57 and us just getting the green flag at lap 82, it would appear that window will extend beyond that lap barrier, and these guys will have to sweat it out to see how long these tires will hold up for the stretch run here at Atlanta.
Shot of Johnny Benson's onboard right there. Johnny, we saw, had carburetor trouble. He's being shown 16 laps down right now, currently running in the 30th spot. He's got a good race truck, but unfortunately he got behind with that bad carburetor.
Yeah, he's just out there trying to get 3 points at a time, Phil. You know, he's 16 laps down. The next position is 12 laps ahead of him. But if somebody falls out over the next 20 or 30 laps, he'll have a chance to pick up a spot or 2, and that's what it's all about. That's Blake Borkland that he's going around there. And Blake's had a good, solid run all night tonight. Got up into the top 15, currently riding in 16th.
See a little water coming out right at the base of the windshield, the right front corner of the windshield. Little water being pushed out right now. You don't want to push too much water out, or that thing will be in the garage area with an overheated engine.
It's kind of weird to have that happening right now after we've run so long. I don't understand what, unless he caught some debris up on that nose. We saw just a glimpse of Joey Clanton. He's back out there after his spin, running 17th and all over Blake.
The battle for 6th right there, Jack Sprague and Rick Crawford.
Our highest running Ford, Rick Crawford's currently running 7th in that Ford. The only Ford in the top 10, Kelly Byers rides 11th.
See Matt Crafton up there ahead of them. He's following the 2 of Clint Boyer.
Boyer's going to be a force to be reckoned with before this thing's over. If you're a NASCAR Nextel Cup fan, Phil, see the front of these trucks with the aluminum bracing on them and also that splitter across the front. That's just what a Cup car is going to look like next week at Bristol. Those splitters and the way the air goes into this engine to cool it, it's all just like a truck.
That has to be one of the most eagerly anticipated races in a long, long time. We've talked about the car tomorrow as we get a good side-by-side battle with Crawford and Sprague. But what are we, 2 years or something? We've talked about the car tomorrow, and it's about to be the car of today.
Well, the thing that's going to be cool about it, we went up there and tested for 2 days, and I talked with NASCAR afterwards. I said, the story is not going to be the car of tomorrow at Bristol. And that was music to their ears, because the story is going to be, he ran into me and he wrecked me, he spun me out. It's going to be racing, just like it's been racing at Bristol for 100 years. And the cars are great. They're going to be fun to drive. They're safer. They're going to be great for our sport, and they won't be the story at Bristol.
And you mentioned the car tomorrow, really the front end pattern almost like a truck. I mean, you're seeing a lot of the transition to the Cup Series from things that they're learning from great racing in the Truck Series.
Well, what they'd hope to do is have our cars match the way these trucks battle here in Atlanta. And when we come back here in a year or so with those cars, it'll be fun to see.
And by the way, it'll be the 50th consecutive sellout at Bristol Motor Speedway.
6th caution of the night. That's Bill Lester in the number 15. A lot of damage on the inside of that truck as well as the outside of that truck.
Now, you might.
I think he must have had a tire going down when he pulled down, and right when you got there, it shot to the right.
Yeah, I was going to say, Phil, that was probably a result of the contact that happened in the caution previous. You know, the truck got together with another guy, might have got a fender on a tire and cut it.
Just turn in here. Let's see what he's going to do. Just hold on. See where he's pitted. Just turn in here and just go behind the wall there.
Yeah, a lot of damage to both of those trucks right there. Mike Bliss had a good solid run going. Unfortunate for him, he had a good top 10 at California.
What about the way he
qualified
his Cup car tonight, too?
Top 10.
The guy is right at Atlanta. He won here last year, starting in the top 10 tomorrow night, or excuse me, Sunday afternoon in his Cup car.
Bill Lester going to pull the Chevrolet behind the wall there. Billy Ballou Chevrolet.
One more look at it. You see it on the top of your screen.
It looked like maybe the 40 of Mike Bliss had a tire going down, and as it went up the hill, obviously you get down to the corner, you turn the wheel, and nothing matters. He made some contact with the 15 of Bill Lester and put him into the outside wall.
Bill Lester was just a victim of circumstances. The 40 truck, it appeared, is the guy that lost a tire, Phil.
Yeah, watch this now.
Oh, right at the wrong time for Bill.
Bill
Nothing
just
he could do.
Absolutely nothing he could do. Just came along.
Easy.
Just moments after the 40.
I don't know what his deal was.
Had a flat tire.
Shot up the racetrack, got into the side of Bill Lester, and potentially ending the day for Bill Lester, the evening. And here comes the trucks down pit road. Let's go back down to pit road and Adam Alexander.
Still a bit loose for Rick Crawford. He will come into the pits for the final time. Bottom of your screen. Half a turn on the wedge. They're going to make a slight air pressure adjustment. 4 tires and fuel for Rick Crawford, trying to get his win and race number 250 of his career to Ray Dunlap.
Just a little bit tight off the corners for Todd Bodine, so half a pound in the right rear tire. Now they're going to put a half a rubber in the right rear of Mike Skinner's truck, and they were worried that would slow up their pit stop. It may just a little bit. Now that 7 truck is in front. Looks like Skinner has plenty of room to get out. They'll give him 4 tires and gas on this Tundra. An adjustment for Bodine, and Skinner is going to be out. A long pit stop for the 30, and a log jam with 3 trucks going wide trying to leave pit road.
Looks like Jack Sprague may have won the battle off pit road. If not, Mike Skinner. Going to be awfully close between those 2 guys.
Very close battle. Clint Boyer with a great stop. We will clear it all up when we come back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. It was an amazing race. Well, off of pit road. Looks as though Jack Sprague will get the nod as winning off of pit road. Welcome back to the American Commercial Lines 200 from Atlanta Motor Speedway, just south of Atlanta in Hampton, Georgia. A cool evening in the area, but it's been a very warm race on the racetrack. Our Aaron's Lucky Dog, a warm feeling going to the 07. That's Tim Sauter, the benefactor of Aaron's Lucky Dog, so he'll make it back onto the lead lap. 23 on the lead lap now. And the first truck a lap down, David Starr.
And if you want to be a lucky dog, you can go to shopaarons.com and they'll take care of you.
Thank you for that, Michael. Let's take a look again at some of the drivers that we looked at earlier in our speed spotlight. Adam Alexander, how is your driver doing?
Well, it's been a pretty good night for Matt Crafton. Started 17th, currently riding 11th. His best ever finish here at Atlanta, a 5th a couple of years ago. So an opportunity maybe to better that here this evening. But I talked at the top of the show tonight about the fact this is his 2nd year full-time with crew chief Bud Haefele. We all know about chemistry between driver and crew chief. They're 9th in the points, working on another solid top 10 here tonight. So I would say so far, so good as the speed spotlight shines on Matt Crafton. Ray Dunlap?
Well, not so good down on my end of the track, Adam. The number 50 at TJ Bell running back in 29th position right now, and that truck is 5 laps down. He was very excited about his debut tonight here with Roush Fenway Racing, but things not going according to plan so far for the Heathcliff Claff. Let me say that again. Heath Cliff Cat Litter Ford. Michael?
Easy for you to say, Ray.
Not really.
My cat has had an adventurous evening. That's number 09 of Joey Clanton. We saw him spinning through the grass, but he's remained on the lead lap, currently riding in 22nd spot, and he's got a fast truck, Phil. I believe he can take that thing up into the top 10 before tonight's over.
My guy, Brad Keselowski's had a solid run tonight. He's got the Hooters Energy Drink Chevrolet in the top 20 right now. He stayed on the lead lap. He's in contention for a good top 15 finish. He's got Gary Showalter, who has an awful lot of experience in this truck series, calling the shots on that truck. Look for him to move up a few more spots.
Under the lights at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and the spotlight shining a little brighter on Ford drivers. We'll be right back with the restart in Atlanta. Randy Kaiser takes the pace truck onto pit road, and Brendan Gaughan out in front of the field. The South Point Chevrolet. Green flag flies. Brendan Gaughan stayed out, as did A.J. Allmendinger, Willie Allen.
AJ's going for the lead.
Gonna drop down to the inside, try to get by the 77. Look at Clint Bowyer on the outside of the racetrack.
Something's wrong with the 10 track.
Well, the 60 also, Jack Sprague's backing up. Jack Sprague was the first off of pit road, and he has problems.
Right in the middle of the racetrack. Fortunately, everybody makes their way by.
I think in the meantime, A.J. Allmendinger is taking the Aaron's truck to the lead. That's the first Craftsman Truck Series race he's led, isn't it?
No, he led here last year, remember?
For about a lap.
Yeah, and crashed.
Well, let's hope it's better this time. He wrecked off turn 2, you're right.
Yeah.
Now he's got the lead. He's got Bowyer on him. Boyer's about to complete one of the most amazing comebacks ever.
His truck looked horrible at the beginning of the race. Had a good qualifying effort, backed his way into the about 20th spot. They've continued to work on that truck. They've got it better and better and better, and here he is leading the race.
Here comes the heat.
Here comes
though.
trouble, though.
Yeah. He's going to have his hands full coming up.
They've told Skidder that he's got enough tire to go for it. So, Adam, what's AJ saying about his truck?
Well, he feels pretty solid about it right now. The only problem is, Michael, he doesn't have as fresh of tires as those guys running in and around him, and right now in front of him. The situation for him, he had a tire going down under caution at lap 79. They had to pit earlier than they wanted. That allowed him to get the lead when all these other guys came down just a moment ago. But unfortunately, tires that aren't as fresh here at Atlanta mean you can go in the wrong direction, and that's what's happening here as A.J. Allmendinger nearly gets into the side of Todd Bodine. Ray Dunlap?
A big problem for the number 60 Conway Trucking Toyota for Jack Sprague. He was the first guy off pit road, but apparently some sort of a transmission issue. They just came down pit road to take a look at it. Sprague will go back to the racetrack, but he said the thing just would not go. We'll keep our eye on that 60.
Mike Skinner taking over the top spot. Just behind him, Clint Bowyer. And the 14 of Rick Crawford now on the move. I talked about the love-hate relationship Rick Crawford has with this racetrack. He is the track record holder as far as speed and time in qualifying. Oh, problems with Craig Kinzer. A tough evening for Craig Kinzer. Such a strong truck early on.
Hold the brake, hold the brake. It was
A lot of damage. You see a spring rolling down the racetrack.
That came out of the rear of that truck. That truck is totaled out, Phil.
Man, oh man, what a good run he had going to.
Wonder what happened. I bet you our cameramen have this covered. Figure out.
Everybody should be good to go on fuel. Everyone should have enough fuel to make it to the end, and they probably used all their tires.
They don't have any more tires, do they? Oh, he just
got loose. Right? Ooh, man, did he make some hard contact with the outside wall.
How about how quick NASCAR threw that caution out there as well?
Ooh, Kenny Schrader did a nice job getting by on the inside.
So quick those things snap on you at times, Phil.
Well, they sure do. There's another view of it. Look at, he tries to save it, and the thing just turns hard right. He tries to save it again and makes some hard contact with the outside wall.
If he hadn't have got down on the apron, he could have probably saved that truck. But the flat of the apron just hooks the truck back the other direction.
We saw Kelly Byers do a very similar thing, but he was up a little higher on the racetrack. He didn't hit the apron like you talk about Craig Kinzer doing, so he was able to save it. But unfortunately for Craig Kinzer, it didn't happen.
Tonight was just a breakout night for Craig Kinzer. You hate to see it end like that. He could have been in the top 5 easy in this race.
Very strong truck, and it's good to see Craig Kinzer climbing out of that machine. And earlier, just before this, we saw the 00 and the 30 looking like they were getting a little bit loose, but it was actually the 30 that got into the 00 here working into turn number 1.
Rick Crawford pulled to the inside to make it 3 wide. As they get down to the corner, Todd starts to drive down, then he moves back up the racetrack. AJ's there. Now he's going to chase him back up the hill again. Brendan with a 77 having a great run. He was all but into the outside wall.
And you know, it looked like those trucks hit in a manner that maybe it didn't hurt either one of them's fenders. You know, Todd was just ahead of AJ, so his right front fender should be fine. You can see there, no problem. And it also didn't mess up AJ's left front fender. So close call, because you tear a fender off one of these trucks, they go all to pieces. They won't handle it all. You have to have that aero downforce.
You're running 185 miles an hour at the end of the straightaway. You have to have all the aerodynamics and the best aerodynamics you can. I'm not sure Brennan even got in the outside wall. I think just the dust was flying.
Aaron's lucky dog going to the 10 of David Starr once again. So David Starr will grab a lap and get back on the lead lap. Coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Just for Men. Stay in the game with Just for Men hair color. By Fastenal, we get it right. And by the official tools of NASCAR, Craftsman. 7 cautions to this point. Most recent one coming out, Craig Kinzer having some problems with his truck getting up into the wall hard. We take a look.
Check that thing out. Just turns dead right on him, and then all of a sudden catches the bank and up the hill it goes.
You know, it's a good thing he got another handful of steering wheel and turned that thing back to the left, because that thing would hit the wall at about a 45-degree angle.
Watch Schrader. He knows it's bad.
Turn 2 up high.
Oh, he barely had enough steering wheel to get it underneath him.
.104 laps complete, 26 remain in the Atlanta Motor Speedway race. We'll be back for the finish.
Go.
Welcome back. The truck's still making their way around this 1.5 mile quad oval. One of the fastest that NASCAR visits each week. Let's take a look at what has taken place up to this point. 105 laps complete. Early on, though, the problem was on the start of the race.
Yeah, this race was about 3 seconds old, and they had a chain reaction crash. Tyler Walker got the worst of it. Chase Miller also had a little bit of trouble. And Johnny Benson had a carburetor problem. It actually caught on fire. Lost an engine in practice change engines. We speculate maybe that something was left loose.
They put that fire out. He's out there running right now. Terry Cook blows the right front tire. He scraped the wall off turn 4 and then ran into the wall in turn 1.
Chad McCumbee in the 08 has problems with David Starr, and those two get into it, and McCumbee into the wall, the worst of those two.
Joey Clanton spins coming off the corner, and then Bill Lester and Travis Quabbler are going to come by on the inside as Joey Clanton's trying to gather that thing up. They've made some contact.
Bill has more problems just a little bit later as the officials clean the grass off of pit road. And then most recently, Craig Kinzer into the wall hard.
Good to see him walk towards the ambulance. You can tell that that was a hard hit.
Ray Dunlap, what do you think about that truck out in front?
Well, Mike Skinner's truck is very good, no doubt about it. This is chassis number 78. It's the same truck they won with at California. But a little extra special motivation for Skinner tonight. He and his wife Angie lost their longtime companion dog Opus, who was a Doberman Pinscher just a week ago. And they have replaced Opus with a brand new little puppy, and they're calling him Tundra. And Mike says tonight this race is going to be in memory of Opus and dedicated to our new little puppy Tundra. Believe me, I think he has got it in the bag tonight. Skinner going to give it all he's got. Adam?
Another guy that's going to go after it on the restart, Ray, is the guy 2 trucks behind him. Rick Crawford started 10th, currently riding in the 3rd position. This is the highest in the running order Crawford has been all night long. And prior to this caution coming out, Crawford turned his fastest lap of the night. How special would it be to get a win in your 250th career start? You know Rick Crawford's aware of that, and ready to go with just over 20 laps to go when the green flag goes back in the air.
Hey, Mike Skinner, Phil Parsons, real quickly, I know you're getting ready for a restart, but Jeff has worked on that truck. It's got it better and better all night. You got enough for him?
I don't know. Phil, that old 30 truck, she's as strong as goat's breath. But this little 5-tonner, it's not bad. We're just a little bit off from the center of the corner out on longer runs. We're pretty good for a short run, but we'll just have to see how it unfolds. We'd just like to get a top 5 finish out of here if we could.
All right, Mike, thanks for talking to us, buddy. Get ready for this restart.
Jeff Hensley, crew chief.
I had the privilege to get to know Opus a little bit. That was a good dog.
Like a member of the family, right?
He was. Sad
Skinner
to see him go.
bringing him to the green flag. We're back underway.
Clint Boyer's going to peek to the inside.
That's tough treading down there, though, Phil, to get that truck to stick on the bottom and complete the pass. He does it, however, and brings Crawford
Here
with
comes
him.
Rick Crawford on the bottom of the racetrack. Clint Boyer making the pass. Rick Crawford trying to seal the deal as they get by the 5. And here comes Todd Bodine. Mike Skinner talked about how strong the 30 was, and here he comes.
And there he is, right on the bottom of the racetrack. Side by side off for turn number 4.
These two didn't have those other cats factored into this battle.
Here comes another battle for the lead. Rick Crawford trying to take it away from Clint Boyer.
Crawford's hungry, Phil.
He is.
He wants to put that Ford out front.
Caution down, turn 4.
8th caution of the night. And the 3rd one
Yeah, I got
Bill
a big
Lester
Excedrin
has
headache
been
off of that one.
involved in.
You heard Bill. He said, I've got a big Excedrin headache off of that one. Yeah, that's probably going to do it for him. He saw the right front thing towed out about 7 inches right there.
He hopes that does it for him. he don't want to do that again.
A tough break for Bill Lester. That's such a good truck. And really was riding along there, and Mike Bliss cut a tire down and forced him into the outside wall, and that obviously contributed to this problem also.
So Bill Lester bringing out the 8th caution of the night. Aaron's lucky dog going to the 08, Chad McCumbee. That GPS store, Garmin Chevrolet. So he will make it back onto the lead lap.
Final time onto the back straightaway. They are side by side into turn 3.
This is going to be close. Here they come off turn number 4.
Coming out of turn number 4, side by side. Here they come there. Quad oval. It's Bobby Hamilton, Mike Skinner, and Bobby Hamilton will win the Easy Care 200.
Wow, what a finish.
They're side by side coming out of turn number 4. On the high side, Bobby Labonte. They hit again. It's Bobby Labonte and Ron Hornaday goes across the start finish line just inches in front of Bobby Labonte.
How could this race have been better than last year? And I think it was.
Here comes Jack Sprague up high, and here comes Johnny Benson. Benson's going to slide out of fourth. Sprague's going to slide out of fourth, and Kyle Busch is going to win this race.
What amazing finishes we've had here at Atlanta.
Thinking Ray Dunlap hasn't been here for all those because he said Mike Skinner's got it in the bag. No one has it in the bag here at Atlanta until the checker flag falls. We all know that. You can't predict what's going to happen.
A reminder, fans, those of you tuning in for Formula One qualifying from Australia, that will be up just after the conclusion of the truck race. Again, under 20 laps to go, and we talk about fantastic finishes. You've got Clint Boyer, Rick Crawford, Mike Skinner, Todd Bodine, Matt Crafton, all with very strong trucks, all looking like they're going to play into the finish of this one. Ray Dunlap.
Well, guys, let me add to that a little bit about not knowing who's going to win. We've run 3 races here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in March, and guess what? All 3 of those races have gone to a green-white checkered finish. So hold on to your hat. I know we've got some laps left, but you just never know. Adam?
Kevin Starlin, the crew chief for Rick Crawford, who will restart second. Looked like he had the strongest truck when the caution came out. What do you think for these final 18 laps or so?
Yeah, we've been working on this Power Stroke circuit bar forward all night long. It's been loose. We've been putting a bunch of wedge in it, lowering the track bar air pressure. I think we got about the best it's been all night, so but there's a lot of good trucks out there. We're just going to try to hold them off.
16 laps to go, and the green flag goes back in the air. We'll see if Rick Crawford can do it. Ray?
Adam, Charlie Wilson and the guys have worked on this number 2 all night. Kevin, you got him up front, right? Now, what's the secret to staying there?
I don't know. These truck races are pretty wild to watch, but our Camping World Chevrolet has come to life. Clint's done a great job, and it's been a lot of fun to watch. No matter what happens at this point, it's going to be an exciting finish. I know that for sure.
All right, we'll be watching. He was really loose at the beginning there, and they've made some adjustments to make him better. Boyer at the lead of the field as we get ready to go back to racing.
Again, Jack Sprague, he's being scored 2 laps down on the inside, had problems with his truck, a transmission problem, so he is a lap down truck, but on the outside, it's Clint Boyer, Crawford, Skinner, Bodine, and Crafton, your top 5. Green flag back in the air.
You know, Jack's got an awfully good truck. He could be a wild card in this thing, even though he's 2 laps down. Rick Crawford would love to clear him and get down in turn number 1.
They couldn't jump on Boyer like they did Skinner on the restart. Boyer did a good job, got away.
Look at these trucks all on a line there. Look at Rick Crawford goes to the inside.
Crawford trying to make the pass as they enter turn number 3. He tries to stick it to the bottom. Here comes Mike Skinner down on the bottom of the racetrack. He'll try to make it too wide.
And these trucks, Phil, they create such drag behind them. That's why the 14 truck of Crawford got that big run on Boyer, just drafting off one another.
Looked like he got a little loose down there in 3 and 4. That slowed his momentum enough to allow Mike Skinner to get underneath him, and he brought Todd Bodine with him.
A.J. Allmendinger rubbing the wall off turn 4 there. Excuse me, off turn 2 there. Racing with Ted Musgrave.
Musgrave back up in the top 10. Being scored in 8th out in front of the field. It's still Clint Boyer. Now Skinner has taken over 2nd. Todd Bodine in 3rd.
Look at Brendan Gaughan drive by Matt Crafton to move up into the 5th spot. A great run going for Brendan Gaughan.
Brendan Gaughan did not stop on that most recent caution that everyone else came in. He stayed out. He led some laps. And now it looks as though the truck is still strong enough to stay up in the top 5.
Tell you, Mike Skinner got a little bit loose down there in turn number 2. He's got Todd right up underneath him.
Good corner for Boyer there. He drove away from those guys a little bit. It just seems like he's overmatched, though, Phil. It's like those Toyotas are just tougher than that Chevy that Boyer's in. He can't shake them.
Michael, I would not count out a Ford either, because Rick Crawford looking very strong, able to hug that white line.
Matt Crafton's all over him. Now here comes Brendan Gaughan again. He's going to drive to the inside of Matt Crafton.
All right, so we don't know who's going to win.
Now it's a battle for problems.
A.J. Allmendinger, he had gotten into the outside wall, and I noticed he started to slip back.
Allmendinger bringing out the 9th caution. It's a record number of cautions at Atlanta Motor Speedway. 9 cautions have flown this evening under the lights.
12 laps to go. That means we will probably have
got loose off of 13 and spawning. Got the inside wall a little bit.
A single power restart here probably. Adam?
Well, A.J. Allmendinger had just radioed in and said, guys, I got a piece of the wall because the truck is way too tight. And the next thing you know, the caution is out and A.J. Allmendinger spinning on the back straightaway. So not sure exactly why he spun. You can see how visibly upset he is, but he had just radioed to the crew and told them how tight the truck was. Disappointing end to what could have been a top 10 finish for A.J. here in Atlanta tonight.
They played the same strategy that Brendan Gaughan played. You know, they got him some track position, and it's working for Brendan. But right here, he's racing hard beside the 13 truck of Willie Allen. And I think this thing probably starts to push, Phil, gets into Willie, and then it just snaps around. That's what happens, yeah.
He tries to stay off of Willie, and unfortunately loses control of it. There he hits the inside wall there. Fortunately, not a great deal of contact at the inside wall, but it will put him out for this race. There's another view of it.
That's one of those deals about 4 truck links before they hit. He was in trouble, you know, and he could not keep it off of Willie. Unfortunately for Willie, AJ tried hard to keep it off of him and just barely bumped him. He could have took them both out.
If Willie's not there, he's probably okay. He's got enough racetrack to catch that truck, but unfortunately Willie was there. Really didn't do anything wrong. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time for A.J. Allmendinger.
And you see the 09 truck driving by there? That's my man Joey Clanton. I told you when he was back in 22nd that he had a shot for a top 10 finish, and he's up to 12th now. A.J.'s not happy. What does he do?
He throws that $1,500 Hans device.
Piece of equipment that had nothing to do with what just took place.
Now this is kind of ironic. The Aaron's truck crashes, and then someone is the Aaron's
lucky dog.
Lucky dog.
Doesn't seem right for AJ Allmendinger, does it?
Oh, it doesn't seem right for Aaron's either. I mean, I feel like maybe they should just have it be a not a free pass.
Well, we're going to give it to Jack Sprague anyway.
They do give it, and it goes to Jack Sprague. He's still going to be 1 lap down, but he will have to start back at the back of the field because we are inside, or we will be inside of 10 laps to go, and so they will do a single file restart. The lap down trucks will be at the back of the field.
That puppy looks so happy, but he's really not.
In 2 weeks on Fox Sports, the Truck Series returns to its roots with the first short track race of the season. With a roster full of short track aces, it's anyone's guess who will come out on top. Tune in for all the race coverage at 3 p.m. live on Fox.
NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series lives on speed. Well, we will be on Fox for 2 races this season, and the first one being Martinsville Speedway for the Kroger 250.
I'm going to be like Darrell. I get to be on Fox. I've tried my whole life to be like Darrell, and it's finally going to happen.
Are you going to do the boogity thing since we'll be on Fox?
No, I'm going to do the shebang.
No, don't go there. Don't go there. You're going to tighten the belts and all that. I'm going to tighten the belts, tell you to put your gloves on real tight, all that stuff like Larry does to Darrell.
And then I'm going to say, she bangs, she moves. And then they're going to go.
That didn't work the first time.
The first several times you tried it, but
nothing at all. 9 cautions tonight. That's a new series record, and that means there's been several Aaron's lucky dogs.
Atlanta Motor Speedway has never seen this many caution flags and this many caution laps. The old record set back in October of last year of 30 laps, and we're well over that now.
Well, it's just been a wild race. I mean, we've had guys 2 and 3 wide racing side by side, and anytime you have that much action, there's going to be cautions.
At the beginning of the show, we talked about the weather. Do you think the weather has played into what's taken place?
I think the weather played into the first caution when they all took off and people couldn't get going. Their tires were cold. Since then, we've seen them take control of that problem, handle that. But this is just hard racing that's resulting in some crashes.
Let's see if we can get a hold of Rick Crawford. He's currently being shown in the 4th spot right here. Rick Crawford, Phil Parsons, can you hear me?
Yeah, Phil, go ahead.
Rick, your 250th start. You've got that thing in position. You can see the front from there. You got enough to beat these guys?
I don't know. I had to put the move on the 2 and Clint give me the bottom, and I just couldn't complete the pass. Whether we run or lose, we get this 14 Ford power stroke diesel Ford by International, and you know, we give it a valiant effort tonight. We run up front. We made some bold moves out here with this Ford F-150, and you know, I think that's a great honor for Benny tomorrow and the Nicorette 300. I appreciate you accepting that award for him, and make sure you tell his family hi, and we hadn't forgot about him.
Well, we sure appreciate it, buddy. You've been a friend of the family for a long time, and we would sure like to see you get that Power Stroke diesel Ford up there in the front.
Me too. I ain't giving up. I ain't thrown the checkers yet, so I ain't giving up. The team, Circle Bar Race team's done a great job. Kevin Starlin made some excellent calls tonight to adjust on his truck, and they hadn't thrown the checker, so I'm not giving up.
We know you won't. Good luck, buddy.
Very much.
Adam Alexander.
Interesting, Rick, that Phil would ring him at this stage of the race. I've been monitoring the 14 radio for the last 20 laps or so. Rick has been very quiet under all these caution laps, very focused for the stretch run. And as he said to Phil, they haven't thrown the caution yet, so he has not given up hope. Restarting 4th with under 10 laps to go, it could be an opportunity for Rick Crawford to shine here at Atlanta. Sizing up for the restart, we go down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Adam. We see the 1 to go signal here, so there'll be 8 laps of racing coming your way. The team would love to talk to Clint Boyer to ask him about his truck, but he can't hear anybody. So there is no radio communication between the 2 Camping World Chevrolet and the guys here in the pit area. So they're figuring, they know they got a good wheelman there, but they're sure not going to be able to tell him anything because he can't hear him on the radio.
I think he's a sitting duck, Phil. I feel like those guys are going to team up on him and put him down. But you know, I felt the same way at Charlotte last fall. Do you know the job that Boyer did winning that race? Right? Where was he at when he held everybody off, driving crazy?
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah. Similar racetrack.
Yep.
Yeah. Remember he had
too.
He had somebody down in the grass. I mean, he was so determined.
Was it Skinner?
I think he put Skinner in the grass, and he was so determined to win that race. It's the same guy behind the wheel.
He's pretty determined now, I'll guarantee you that.
Might have that same determination. Got Camping World on the side of that Chevrolet truck.
And that determination is one of the reasons that Richard Childress tabbed him when hardly anybody had ever heard of him in NASCAR. And he put him in a Busch car, said, who's Clint Bowyer? Well, we know who he is now.
Found out right quick, first race at Nashville, he about won it.
A.J. Allmendinger has been released from the Care Center. When the green flag flies, it'll be 7 laps of racing to go, and out in front of the field, Clint Bowyer gets turned a little bit. Here comes Mike Skinner. We saw this 3 weeks ago in California.
Boy, Mike Skinner's going to take advantage. He got him sideways.
Boyer's hanging tough down on the bottom.
He's going to fight back on the bottom. He's got Todd Bodine right behind Skinner.
He's going to push Skinner by.
He said he was a sitting duck. It looks like it.
Look at Matt Crafton. Crafton goes to the high side looking for a career best finish. He's done third a few times. Could he better that tonight?
Man, they're battling hard.
Side by side, the Chevrolets work. The Toyotas out in front, and here comes a Ford. Rick Crawford in that number 14 Ford making his way around the 2 of Clint Bowyer.
Look at Brendan Gaughan on the outside.
Gaughan on the outside. 3 wide. Gaughan backs off. So does Clint Bowyer. Rick Crawford moves up. And guys, we still have 5 laps of racing to go.
And we're out of breath.
You know, the good thing about racing here in Atlanta, it speaks for itself. We can talk all we want, but the cool thing about this racetrack is a storm is a brewing. There's 5 to go, and we don't have any idea who's going to win this race.
There's Joey Clanton. He had trouble earlier. He was running 20th, and here he is battling in the top 10.
I told you they're going to have to give him the keys to that Ford full time. I mean, he's 6th at Daytona, took a week off. Now he's up in the top 10, and he is catching these guys.
A great run Joey Clanton has on both of these Chevrolets. Clint Bowyer on the left. Dennis Setzer on the right, and that Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet. A great run for Dennis Setzer. It looks like he's getting back on the ways that he knows how to run those trucks up front.
There's Ted Musgrave. We haven't talked a great deal about Ted. He's battling for the top 10 inside of Joey Clanton.
Out in front of the field, it's Mike Skinner still holding off Todd Bodine, Matt Crafton.
If Todd can just get to Skinner, then these other guys are lined up to take advantage of that. You can see Crafton there, just 4 or 5 truck lengths off the back of Todd Bodine. Todd can't do anything right now with Skinner, though. Skinner keeps running a faster lap time than the rest of the guys every lap by.
Clanton and Setzer side by side. Ted Musgrave looking for a way around.
There's Kelly Byers, a great run for Kelly Byers. Ooh, Joey Clanton has to chase it up the hill. Ooh, makes a little contact and loses 2 or 3 spots.
Wow, almost gets into the back of Dennis Setzer. Setzer able to keep going. Here comes Ron Hornaday in the 33. 3 laps of racing to go. That's the differential between first and second. Mike Skinner in front of Todd Bodine. 3 truck lengths separate 1 and 2.
Todd's running a little bit higher line, Phil, and he's also closing down on Skinner. That higher line might be how he tries to make this move. His truck did not push off that turn. He's able to get a good run down the back straightaway.
About a lap and a half to go. Todd needs to make a good corner here. He needs to stay in contact with Mike Skinner.
Mike Skinner started on the pole tonight. Out in front of this field, he leads Todd Bodine by almost a half a second. Mike Skinner, our most recent winner from California, trying to make it 2 in a row, coming to Atlanta Motor Speedway.
It's sure looking like it's going to be in 2 in a row. He's got about a half a second on Todd, about 8 or 10 truck lengths right now.
He's just driving away right now, Phil. Todd, he ran up high and tried.
No pressure, bring it home. Good job. Good job, everybody. Good calls in there, Jeff. Good job.
Career win number 21 for Mike Skinner as he crosses the start-finish line in front of Todd Bodine.
You know, Todd Bodine moved high, and he tried with 2 or 3 laps to go, Rick. He tried a different line. He tried all he could to get that move done, but Mike was just too strong at the end.
Little celebration down there. Jeff Hensley and his guys awfully happy. 2 in a row for Mike Skinner.
I'm telling you, congratulatory bump there.
You guys, I love you, man.
Todd Bodine, and then a little bump there from Clint Bowyer in the number 2.
I'm sure Clint wasn't overly happy with the restart there when Mike Skinner got against him. Michael, let's take a look at that. Rick, let's take a look at this restart here. We saw a few weeks ago, this is right before the restart here.
What you don't want to do is hold these guys down for a restart. You want to start early so they don't get a chance to get to that back bumper. Skinner does this perfect. He just gently touches Bowyer, tire spin, he takes a right, and he's long gone.
That's a great veteran move by Mike Skinner. He saw what happened at California when Hornaday got up against Mark Martin. He didn't turn Clint down into the infield, but he sure got him out of the throttle enough, got him wiggling a little bit, allowed him to get some momentum, and he drove by him in turn 1.
Well, you just got to, the leader makes himself a little bit of a target there. He's going slow. Everybody's bunched up on him. It's kind of okay at that point to give him a little bit of push. It's like, come on, dude, let's go. It's time to race. Gave him that push, got him sideways, and took the lead.
Yeah, I'm like you, Michael. Start early, if anything, and get going where you can't get against your bumper.
Skinner continuing his celebration as we look at our Fastenal Fast Finish top 5 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Skinner with win number 2 on the 2007 season.
Run. So when them cautions kept coming out, it didn't bother me. And I knew Bowyer. He's the trick artist, and he does good mirror driving and all that stuff. And we was fortunate enough to get him on the restart there, and we just held on for 5 laps or 10 or whatever the heck it was there. And I just, this from my dog Opus. He passed away about a week ago. This for him. That's pretty cool. I want to thank Toyota, Bosch, Wicks, all my people that helped me, Easy Go Golf Carts, Justin Boots, all these people have been with me for a long time. The new thing with TaylorMade here pretty soon, and Maui Jim Sunglasses. We're having a good time. Bill and Gail Davis let me drive his truck.
Congratulations, you're back in victory lane. And guys, he came on the radio and said, guess what? We finally won Atlanta. Adam?
And coming home second tonight, Todd Bodine. Mike Skinner just said you had the best truck. Was he right, Todd?
Our trucks were equal in the short run, and ours was definitely better in the long run. We didn't need to see all them cautions at the end, but it worked out. We didn't want the 2 to win, and if I had to push somebody, I'd rather push my friend than a guy that won't even talk to you when you walk by.
Second top 5 of the year, and only 3 starts for Todd Bodine. A smile on his face as he exits Atlanta.
Impressive start to the 2007 season. Toyota Tundras have been in the victory lane all 3 races. Mike Skinner, 2 of those.